finish you.
Even before the fight.
I finish you, little
Get
man.
that ass from here.
I finish
Get
you.
Yeah. With Arman Sarukian weighing in as the backup, is he getting back in the good graces with you and the?
Well, it's not about getting back in the good graces. It's about, the guy had the opportunity to fight for a title and didn't make weight. It's just, you couldn't fuck up anything worse than that. But he proved, now that he's not fighting for the title and he was here as a backup fighter, he made weight. So it's definitely a step in the right direction.
What a night. Oh,
Go trajectory we have in our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
you said something to me, and I want you to say it. I want to ruin it. Ilia has done what now?
He just is legend after legend. The greatest 3-fight run in MMA history. I guarantee you, if you're an MMA fan, he's slept your favorite fighter. It's just a fact.
Lo dije, lo hice. Siempre me llaman loco. Y luego se dan cuenta que no es cierto.
Islam Makhachev gave his perspective on the UFC 317 clash between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, saying it was a fight that could have swung in either direction depending on who implemented their strategy better. According to him, if Oliveira managed to get the takedown early, he likely would have ended it swiftly with his ground game. On the other hand, if Topuria landed a solid shot, Oliveira might have been knocked out cold. In Islam's view, it was all about who executed their style more effectively to secure the victory.
Jab to the body, jab up top. Oh, that's it. Inside of 3 minutes, bitches. Inside of 3 minutes. Inside of 3 fucking minutes. He fucking called it. He fucking called it. Inside of 3 fucking minutes. Keep doubting this fucking guy now.
Good shot to the body. I think Ilia's going to finish him. Oh, he slumps him. He slumps him. Oh my God. He's dead. Put him out cold. Ilia wins. New lightweight champion. Oh my God. Slumped him out cold. Nasty combination. Oh my God. Charles looks like return the slab. Jab to the body from Ilia. Jab upstairs. The jabs. Oh! Oh! He slept on himself cold! He slept him out cold in round 1! He slept Oliveira in round 1! With a nasty 2-piece! Oh, fuck you, you cunt! Why are you so horrible? What a savage this guy is! Wow! First round TKO. As I said, I told you first round TKO.
Jab to the body, stiff jab up high. Oh, right and left, and it's over! Topuria with the first round knockout and new champion! Woo! I called it, son. Lock City parlay hits, the 2-legger. They told me, no, Van's not good. Don't throw in Topuria. Yeah. Look at me.
Back to the center of the octagon. Oh. Jab for Ilia.
Oh! He just starched him! Charles Oliveira is completely out. He doesn't know where he is. Ilia Topuria in the first round. KO. This man is a monster. He sips the tea. He's a killer. Oh, this guy is fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
What? Oh my God. 155-pound champ, 145-pound champ, 2-division champion, 17-0. Superstar.
Holy shit.
shit. That's it. It's alive. Oh! He just killed him! He just killed him! Ladies and gentlemen, Ilia Topuria just puts out Charles Oliveira. Hey, we were correct on the prediction. What does that mean for us, for the shots?
Topuria goes to the body with the left. Oh, nasty right. Charles is down. He's out. He's cold. He's dead. He's flatlined. He's flatlined. He's flatlined. He is knocked out. Remember Gregory Rodriguez's knockout? Well, Ilia Topuria just sent Charles Oliveira to another planet.
Islam Makhachev also shared his thoughts on the possibility of Charles Oliveira becoming the UFC's first two-time lightweight champion, saying it would be a huge achievement. He noted that Oliveira has a solid shot at making it happen, particularly because he usually does well when facing opponents who rely heavily on striking.
Ilia Topuria has said a lot about you. He's being very respectful now this week. Like he said, he doesn't think you ducked him and he respects you for chasing your goals at welterweight. Who do you think is going to win on Saturday at UFC 317 between Ilia and Charles Oliveira?
It depends, man. Who can follow his game plan, you know? If Charles can take him down, he can finish him easy in the ground. Or if Topuria catch him, he gonna sleep, you know. And two options. Who is gonna make the game plan work?
Dustin Poirier gave his opinion on Ilia Topuria's knockout power, saying that if Topuria had managed to finish Charles Oliveira after already defeating Volkanovski and Holloway, it would have been one of the greatest three-fight win streaks ever. Poirier called all three opponents legends and added that if Ilia had accomplished that, it would have proved he is exactly as dangerous as he seems.
There's never been a two-time lightweight champion. Charles will be the first if he wins. That would be a big accomplishment.
Well, I don't know about it, but he has chance. He has big chance, you know.
Yeah.
And he always fight good against the striking, you know, striking. But if Charles have small chance, if you give him small chance, he's gonna...
Dustin Poirier shared his concern about Ilia Topuria possibly being undersized. For the matchup, he mentioned that Charles Oliveira's size advantage and his lethal submission skills could have created real problems for Topuria, particularly if Oliveira managed to deal damage early on. However, Poirier also highlighted Oliveira's habit of absorbing strikes, which would have been dangerous against someone with Topuria's knockout ability. He said he was really looking forward to seeing how the fight would unfold.
Where would you think if he goes from knocking out Volk to knocking out Max, and if he knocks out Charles, is this one of like the greatest three-fight winning streaks we've ever seen?
For sure, sure. I mean, these are legends we're talking about. You know, stopping a guy who's never been stopped in Max, beating Volk, who has long time top of the game, like Charles, another former champ who's putting on great performances. Like, man, what can I say about this guy? I'll say it again. If he does it, he's everything he said he is, man. He's a dangerous dude.
Merab Dvalishvili also had strong words of praise for his friend Ilia Topuria, saying that Ilia is unlike anyone he has ever trained alongside. He highlighted Ilia's sharp mind, impressive strength, and tireless work ethic, adding that he believes Topuria has what it takes to defeat both Islam Makhachev and Charles Oliveira. Merab noted that training with Ilia feels completely different compared to other partners, as no one else has matched his level of intensity and skill.
Ilia versus Charles fight?
I think Ilia, man. I think he's going to be way undersized against Charles. I just don't, unless Charles can sub him, maybe if he hurts him, but it's going to be tough, I think. Because Charles gets hit a lot, you know, and Ilia puts people away.
Ilia is a little bit shorter, but I think he hits hard and he's style, you know. It's like we all see that Alex Volkanovski, he's not the tallest, but how he fights, and he beat 3 times Max Holloway, tall guy, you know. Size depends how you fight, you know, like, and then I don't think size is a big difference. It depends how you fight, and Ilia's fight style is typical for Islam and even for Charles Oliveira.
Former UFC champion Demetrius Johnson also backed Ilia Topuria to beat Charles Oliveira, predicting that the fight would end in a finish. He explained that he expected Topuria to hurt Oliveira on the feet and then follow him to the mat to secure a stoppage, much like what Islam Makhachev had done. Johnson was confident in his pick for Topuria and said he would have been surprised if the fight didn't end with a knockout.
Someone gives you 10 G's, Demetrius, who you got?
I'm going to go with Ilia Topuria. The reason why is because when you look at Charles Oliveira's last couple of fights, you know, when he fought Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, you know, Michael Chandler even. He's been hurt in every single one of those fights.
Yeah.
He gets dropped and he goes to his back. And then a lot of those guys, even Islam hurt him on the feet. And a lot of those guys don't follow him to the ground. They allow him to get back up and he gets back in a gunfight and then he's able to put those guys out. Now, I am betting on that Ilia Topuria is going to hurt him, and when he does hurt him, he's going to fall into the ground and try to finish him like Islam did. Now, Charles Oliveira can win that fight because we have seen Ilia Topuria been hurt before from a taller guy by Jay Herbert. Jay Herbert was able to rock him multiple times, but Ilia Topuria was able to make the adjustments, and he ended up knocking out Jay Herbert. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Ilia Topuria, and I know someone's getting knocked the f out. Somebody's getting finished. Like, yeah, if nobody gets finished, I will be shocked.
Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall was also supporting Ilia Topuria to win this matchup.
Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira.
Topuria.
Tom praised Ilia Topuria, describing him as the future of mixed martial arts. He pointed out Topuria's incredible knockout power, solid grappling skills, and his smooth ability to blend all areas of fighting together. Aspinall also mentioned that Topuria's Georgian and Spanish heritage brings a unique and exciting vibe to the sport. In his eyes, Ilia isn't just an up-and-coming talent, he's the next major force in MMA.
He's got devastating power, great grappler as well, links everything together so well, great for the sport, obviously Georgian/Spanish guy, so he's mixing up nationalities, and just the future, for me, he's the future of MMA.
Tom Aspinall also praised Charles Oliveira for his fearless approach in the cage, highlighting how he never hesitates to trade strikes with powerful opponents. He mentioned Oliveira's readiness to stand and bang with heavy hitters such as Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje, and noted that Ilia Topuria has a similar fighting style. Aspinall pointed out that Oliveira often turns wild exchanges into opportunities, using the chaos to set up submissions like flying triangles.
I think something that I like about Charles, let's have a little look at him, is he isn't afraid to exchange with the punches, with anybody. We've seen him get punched off guys like Chandler. We've seen him get guys off guys like Gaethje and all the rest of the short, stocky, powerful punchers. So Topuria, his style isn't dissimilar to other guys he's fought before. But what he likes to get involved, get him dragged into a bit of a punching match, and then he'll tie him up, and then he'll go for flying triangles. He's not scared to be on his back either. He doesn't mind getting taken down where he's on his back, and he'll be throwing up, he'll be doing all this kind of stuff. He'll be throwing up triangles, he'll be going sweeps, lifting him up, he'll be doing all different kind of attacks off his back as well, and that is something that is difficult to prevent.
Meanwhile, Paddy Pimblett viewed Ilia Topuria as a strong candidate to defeat Charles Oliveira. He commented that Oliveira tends to have a questionable chin, pointing out that he's been hit a lot throughout his career. While Pimblett acknowledged Oliveira's dangerous ground game, he also described him as somewhat reckless. Additionally, he mentioned that people often ignore the significant jump in size from featherweight to lightweight, and since both fighters are similar in height, he believed size could have played an important role during their striking exchanges.
He beats Charles then? I think he might, to be honest. Charles is a bit chinny, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's had about 40 fights or something. He always gets punched. He always gets cracked. Yeah. So, he's reckless, but he's super exciting. Yeah, he is. And he's dangerous. Exciting. If he gets him down, I can see him winning, because that 10 pounds difference is a big difference. Yeah. 145 to 155, it's a big difference. People don't understand that because they don't watch the sport or they're not involved in the sport. But that 10 pounds makes a big difference. And especially like Charles is like my height. Ilia's like down here when I stand up. You know what I mean? So it's going to make a big difference.
Paddy Pimblett suggested that Ilia Topuria might not have fully realized just how big and physically strong Charles Oliveira would be inside the octagon. He explained that fighters moving up in weight often don't truly understand the size difference until they're standing across from their opponent. Reflecting on his own experiences, Pimblett mentioned Bobby Green and Michael Chandler as examples, saying that although they appeared smaller on screen, they felt significantly bigger in person.
Ilia might get a bit of a fright at how big Charles is when he stands opposite him. Fighters do that with me, who fight at lightweight. You know what I mean? I'll never forget Bobby Green looking over at me and being like, what, he's big, him. Same with Chandler. Like people thought Chandler was going to be bigger than me, and he just weren't.
On the other hand, Bonail Dariush predicted that Ilia Topuria would emerge victorious against Charles Oliveira at UFC 317. He pointed out Topuria's strong striking ability and his superior wrestling as major advantages. Dariush believed that the outcome of the fight would likely come down to the grappling battles. and in his view, that was an area where Topuria had the upper hand.
I lean towards Ilia, but it ain't by much, man. It's just a little bit. I think Charles has a really good chance with his power, with his fakes, with, you know, if he uses his full arsenal, he's a very difficult big guy to deal with.
So why do you lean Ilia? What's the kind of thing that's tipping you over the edge there?
I would say Ilia's got great power, and I think wrestling wise, I would probably say Ilia is probably the better wrestler. So I think that's where this fight could be decided, who the better.
Islam Makachev's coach, Javier Mendez, admitted that he would have put his money on Ilia Topuria to beat Charles Oliveira, even though he personally wanted Oliveira to win. He explained that Oliveira's upright fighting stance could have left him exposed to Topuria's aggressive, pressure-based boxing style. Mendez praised Topuria's accuracy, particularly his skill in landing clean shots to the chin like he did against Josh Emmett. In his opinion, Topuria would have been able to create more openings and capitalize on them in this matchup.
Ilia, power puncher, boxer, low stance versus Charles Oliveira. If someone gave you $100 grand to bet on that fight, who would you bet?
Ilia. But if you're asking who I would want to win, I'll put Charles. I'll put my money on Charles.
Yeah.
It's basically because Charles is going to stand in there upright, like you're saying, and Ilia's got a really good way of connecting with that chin. Really, really nice. Just like what he did with Volk. Ilia's got more opportunities than Charles.
Javier Mendez felt that Ilia Topuria would have the advantage over Charles Oliveira because of his crisp boxing on the inside and his ability to land powerful, accurate punches. He pointed out that Oliveira's upright posture made him easier to hit and added that Oliveira might have found it difficult to get takedowns without setting them up with knees or front kicks. While Mendez recognized Oliveira's reach and effective kicking skills, he believed Topuria had more ways to win the fight.
About his skill set that you like more?
It's basically because Charles is going to stand in there upright, like you're saying, and when he gets inside, he's going to use that boxing, and Charles' head's going to be up, and Ilia's got a really good way of connecting with that chin on the inside. Really, really nice. Just like what he did with Volk, you know, and I think if Charles doesn't get him up the middle with knees or front kicks up the middle, he's going to have a hard time with his boxing against him, and he's going to have a hell of a time trying to take him down. So it's going to be one of those where Ilia's got more opportunities than Charles does. But Charles can surprise us with his length, you know, and up the middle would be really, really well suited for him. And the kicks too, you know, body, head type thing, you know, low, high, you know, he could do really well.
Jorge Masvidal spoke highly of Ilia Topuria, calling him a unique talent and a future champion. He remembered their past training sessions and said that Topuria's potential was clear even back then. Although Masvidal acknowledged Charles Oliveira's size, striking skills, and dangerous jiu-jitsu, he felt that Topuria was simply operating on a different level and confidently supported him to win the UFC 317 title fight.
Topuria a long time. Maybe I know Topuria 5-6 years, and I've always said Topuria will be a world champion. So at the time, I'm like number 3 in the world at 170, number 2 in the world at 170, you know, and me and Ilia are working out. He was always very respectful, never throwing his hardest, but I could just feel, you know, I blocked the shot, shot, and boom, boom, and I go. And I told him after, the first time we trained, I go, brother, God willing, you will be champion, brother. Because Ilia's 1 out of 10,000. I've trained with everybody. Hey, say their name. Yeah. I've trained with everybody, brother. This guy's special. And I think he's going to be a world champion at 155. He's going to beat Charles, man. He's going to find a way to beat him. Charles is bigger. Charles has kicks, knees, elbows, great jiu-jitsu, good wrestling. Skill everywhere, Charles is good. But Ilia is just different, brother. This guy's special.
Renato Moicano also felt that the fight between Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria was more challenging than people realized. While many thought Topuria would easily take control, he cautioned against underestimating Oliveira's resilience and vast experience. Moicano recognized Topuria's impressive strength at featherweight, saying this fight would be a true test for both men, although he was initially leaning towards Topuria. After recently having Oliveira on his podcast, Moicano decided to support Charles instead.
Fighting on the Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria card, Charles is a big underdog. How do you see that fight going?
Man, that's a tougher matchup that a lot of people think. They think Topuria gonna run through Charles. You never count Charles Oliveira out. I think he's very tough. But Topuria is good, you know? He's 145. It's going to be a tough fight for both fighters. I don't have an opinion on that. I was leaning more to Topuria, but today I just had a podcast with Charles on my Brazilian channel. It's just very hard to not like the guy. That makes harder, you know, to pick against him. So I'm going with Charles just because he's Brazilian.
On the other hand, Curtis Blades picked Charles Oliveira to beat Ilia Topuria at UFC 317, he felt that Oliveira's precise striking, high-level grappling, and dangerous submission skills would pose problems that Topuria had never encountered before. Blades also mentioned that since Oliveira wouldn't have to worry about being taken down, he would likely fight more aggressively on the feet and could potentially get a finish by the third round.
I want to go Oliveira just because I believe he has the hands and the grappling. He presents more issues than I think any of Ilia's past opponents. He's had a great run, but he hasn't faced a grappler who's as dangerous as Oliveira. And I just think Oliveira being able to the pressure and to pretty much not have to worry about takedowns to open up his hands more. I think he'll be able to stop him on the feet, maybe third round.
Additionally, Michael Chandler expressed his excitement for the Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira fight, mentioning that he planned to watch it live from cage side. He described Oliveira as a tough and well-rounded veteran who's always dangerous. While also praising Topuria for his explosive power and pinpoint accuracy, Chandler said the matchup was thrilling and unpredictable, expecting an fight full of fireworks because of the dangerous skills both men bring to the octagon.
So I'll be cage side for that fight to watch it, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, who do you think is going to win?
Man, it's tough. You don't bet against freaking Charles Oliveira because he's so dang good everywhere, and he's a really hard guy to beat. With that being said, Ilia Topuria's got some crazy power in his hands and crazy accurate strikes. So it'll be very interesting to see how that fight goes.
Rafael Fiziev also gave his opinion on Ilia Topuria, expressing some doubts about how well Topuria would adjust to competing at lightweight. While he acknowledged Topuria's crisp boxing and knockout power at featherweight, Fiziev questioned whether those strengths would translate as effectively at 155 pounds. He pointed out that Topuria is physically smaller than many fighters in the lightweight division, including Charles Oliveira, and highlighted that lightweight is one of the UFC's toughest and most competitive weight classes. Fiziev believed that Topuria's main challenge would be handling the size, strength, and overall skill level of his new opponents.
Ilia Topuria, he's a little bit smaller against, I think he's a little bit smaller against the Charles, but he also has crazy hands, beautiful boxing, strong hands. Featherweight is featherweight. They're dangerous, but honestly, lightweight is the craziest, hardest division in the UFC. This is challenge for him. Now we see how he adapt for that, because the featherweight is not lightweight. Lightweight is big difference.
Additionally, Osborne described the matchup between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira as a fascinating clash of styles. He felt that Oliveira would have the edge on the ground, but believed Topuria held the advantage in striking. Osborne warned against underestimating Oliveira's stand-up skills, noting how he managed to knock down both Git and Chandler. However, he thought Topuria had the tougher chin. In his opinion, the fight would likely come down to whether Oliveira could survive or avoid one of Topuria's heavy punches.
Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. That one is definitely an interesting matchup because obviously Charles, in my opinion, has the advantage on the ground. But, stand-up wise, I'm gonna have to go with Ilia only because he's been such a GOAT on the stand-up era. Charles has, you can't count him out as well. You've seen him drop Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, some of the greatest fighters ever with his stand-up. So his stand-up isn't counted out. I'm just saying, I think, maybe Charles has less of a chin, whereas Ilia can afford to take one or two, but can Charles take one of Ilia's? That is going to be the deciding factor of the fight.
That wraps up today's video. We hope you enjoyed it. Many of the pros have shared their reactions to this incredible fight, and now we'd love to hear what you think about the outcome. Drop your opinions in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of the latest UFC updates.